Greetings and salutations, grand dawning, grand rising, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the planet. Welcome to another edition of 360 Info Network right here on AM 1490 WERE. We have a great show for you. If you are watching us on YouTube, you can see that there are a few folks in the room in addition to Brother Ham, Tony, and myself. This is 360 Info Network, and it is brought to you by the Cleveland Observer. They are a source for news, information, entertainment, and all the things that we need to keep our consciousness where it should be. We are happy to have the Cleveland Observer as our title sponsor. We have some announcements that we are going to make, but before we do that, I'd like to introduce you to the founder and creator of 360 Info Network. His name is Hamtonio. Brother Hamtonio, how you feeling?
Not too bad. Greetings, everyone. Great and grand risings to everyone. You know, what you do for yourself depends on what you think of yourself. And what you think of yourself depends on what you know of yourself. And what you know of yourself depends on what you've been told of yourself. We welcome you. We got a great show for you today. We are glad that you guys are on this journey with us for discovery of who we are, and what we should be doing as African American people to help ourselves and empower our community. So we got a great show for you today, and thank you for tuning in.
All right. We got a couple of things going on today. We are going to have the Impart 216 artist team who installed a project as part of the Transformative Art Fund that happened in Cleveland in 2025. We're going to let you see what their work looks like and talk to them about their experience with the Transformative Art Fund. We're also going to be joined later in the hour by Brother Wayne Chandler. There are some meaningful things that are happening in the world of precious metals, specifically in terms of silver and in the world of cryptocurrency. And we're going to talk about some of those things as well. So we're really excited about today's show. I just want to let you know that we're going to have an event at Larchmere Arts next Saturday. We are actually bringing a very high level person with the Asara Sex Society. They're going to be doing an event at Larchmere Arts on the 24th of January from 4 to 7 p.m. We're having Tehuti Kamal. He is going to be here in Cleveland with us to talk about some things related to the winter solstice. It's going to be a comedic meditation workshop where you can de-stress, empower the manifestation of your goals, accelerate your growth and accomplishments through the power of lunar cycles. So we've got a great event planned for you. We're also looking at doing some things involving the arts. We're going to be bringing music and the spoken word back to Larchmere Arts, and this is going to happen in the month of January and February. So stay tuned. We got a lot of good stuff coming forward. With that, we're going to bring Brother Hamtonio into the conversation, and I'm also going to welcome to 360 Info Network. His name is Nana Kwesi Ajari Ansa. He is my Ghanaian brother. You know, we have the same last name, thanks to Quad David Whitaker, Nana Kra Kwamina II. He is one of the artists who was on this amazing team. We also have Dr. Tamika Ellington, who is someone who has been to Ghana. She's very versed in fabrics and fashion and art, and she just happens to be, we call him Nana. We call him Nana Ajari. She happens to be Nana's manager. We also have with us Ms. Robin Robinson, who is not related to me. We affectionately call ourselves cousins, and it's just crazy, Brother Hamtonio. Robin used to be married to somebody with my name. She was married to a guy named Vince Robinson, and I won't let her forget it, and I'm sure she won't forget it, you know.
Ever.
But you know,
emphasis on used to be.
There's a long story. We're not going to tell it today, but we have a great relationship, and Robin is one of the champions of art here in Cuyahoga County. We also have with us Journey. And Journey, I just figured out something about your name because I would see it spelled and I would be like, I wonder what that means. It's journey, and you spell it the way you spell it, and then you have TA, and then there's apostrophe, and then Zion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I wonder what that means. And then the light bulb just went on. Journey to Zion. Journey
Mm-hmm.
to Zion. That beautiful city on earth,
On
right?
the way.
There
Yes.
it is. And
Yes.
Journey is she's an amazing artist. She's got visual
Oh.
art all over the city. She was telling us before we came on the air that she's going to be involved in the theatrical project with our guy Jimmy Woody. So I want to hear
Oh.
all about that so everybody gets a taste of that. And last but not least, and she was actually the first to respond, is Lolita Wilson. And Lolita is kind of out and about. As you can see, she's in her vehicle. She's out there doing things, but we're glad to have her with us today. And we're going to give her an opportunity to talk about her experience with the Transformative Art Fund. So I will just do this. I just have to let people know that one of the most amazing things that the city of Cleveland has ever seen was a project that came into fruition last year, 2025, September and October. We saw some reveals of art projects around the city, and we had a culminating event at the Martin Luther King branch of the Cleveland Public Library. Each one of the project teams had 12 minutes to present, and we're going to take a look at some of the footage that was gathered by Impart 216. But there were a number of projects. Impart 216 was one of those projects, and the lead artist on that was Ms. Robin Robinson. And I'm going to just go out there and take some credit because I suggested to the powers that be that Robin was a perfect person to be the lead artist on this project, and it happened, and we're so happy that it happened. So we'll start with you, Robin, and if you could just give us a glimpse of what Impart 216 was all about and why it was important for you to be a part of this project.
Thank you, Vince. And thank you for the nomination to do this. Impart 216 actually was 13 months in duration. We started in 2024. But the idea was to have 6 murals in a concise area in order to not only transform the area that the murals were in and represented, but to also transform the community. So what I do as a muralist and artist in public art is I do community engagement murals or public art because I feel it's important that the community has an input into what is represented into their space. So they actually take ownership of the images that are put out in their space. So it was important for us to do these 6 murals, which are actually on the intersection of East 140th and Union and Kinsman, in that triangle intersection in Mount Pleasant. So I had 12 artists, 6 of which were mentor artists, I call them, but these artists were artists who have already done murals and public art. And then 6 support artists who worked with them in order to build their personal repertoire and professionalism, get the instruction from these mentor artists, and be able to then make all 12 of these artists eventually proficient in public art making. They had workshops. Everybody kind of learned from each other. And then it was important that we had community input and engagement so that the community could also feed into the designs, the concepts, and have some idea of what was going on with these murals.
So just to give some background for those who don't know, and we were having a conversation before the program started about the fact that many people don't even know about the Transformative Art Fund. Back during the pandemic, Uncle Sam decided that they needed to stimulate the economy of this country. So they printed a whole lot of money, or they created a whole lot of money, and they just started shipping it here and there. So cities got lots and lots of money to stimulate the economy, which was affected adversely by the experience that we had with the pandemic. Well, Cleveland got $500 million, $500 million, and they had to decide how they were going to allocate it to spend that money. The Assembly for the Arts is an advocacy organization, and one of the things that we did, in full transparency, I'm a member of the board of trustees for the Assembly for the Arts. We lobbied the city for a portion of that money. We asked for $10 million, we got three. With that $3 million, it was decided that we would create projects that would have budgets from between $250,000 and $500,000. So there were about 107 different proposals that came through. It was either 103 or 107, but it was over 100 proposals that came through. And we whittled it down to six. And then we added another project, and that project that was added and created by the team of artists who chose the projects. That team of artists created this project, and we put it in the hands of Robin. She took the ball and she ran with it, and she scored a touchdown, and not just an extra point. She ran a two-point version into the end zone. We got us 8 points on that. So we've got with us Nana Jari, we got Journey, we've got Dr. Ellington, and we have Lolita Wilson with us. And I just want to get them to talk about their experience in the project. I'm going to start with Journey because she has so much to share, and she's been doing so much in the public art space. Journey, talk to us about how you got involved with Impart 216 and exactly what you did.
So, and Robin, you can help me out here too. I first met Robin while working at Assembly. It was the Creative Impact Fund of 2024. I was helping Assembly with social media. I was helping Assembly with just like management of the Creative Impact Fund. And that's where I got like closer to Robin at. And I think it was our like end of the grant period party where we just started talking, we got closer, and she had told me like, hey, there's a project that I may want you a part of. And granted, I've never like before this project done public art, let alone like art at a larger scale like this. So I was like, oh, are you sure about this? Like, I feel like I'm underqualified, but she took a chance. And yeah, it's been up from there. Like this project, and it's really transformational for me just because I used to live like down the street from where these murals are at. I've been in the Buckeye neighborhood all my life. And so like I'm connected to this neighborhood, and I know just the power of public art. Like being in Buckeye, seeing Mr. Soul's murals, seeing Donald Black's photography murals, like that representation is everything. And so to be able to give back to a community that I've been in, that I was raised in such a beautiful way, like it's changed my life. And then within that too, like I've been able to do other public art projects. Like I work with Mr. Soul at Fresh Fest. I'm currently doing a mural with another support artist, Krista Freehands. Shout out my goats. And we're doing that in Buckeye, which is just like continuous full circle moments that just really remind me the purpose of everything, you know?
So you mentioned a couple of things that really resonated. One, you said that it was a transformative experience for you. And, one of the objectives that we had as a committee coming up with these projects is we wanted it to have a transformative impact on communities, but we also wanted it to have a transformative impact on the artists. And the fact that you didn't have that experience and you came into this project and you had that experience. It helped you to elevate your game as an artist, and so you've really taken off from there. So congratulations to you. Can you talk about the art that you installed?
Yes. So I work with Nathalie Bermudez, also my goat, and we did a mural called "From Many One Hive." You'll see it on the front of the Cleveland Public Library on Kinsman, and it basically represents like the need for connectivity in community. We need to cultivate each other. We need to care about our environment in order to grow and to prosper. We need to respect like nature. We need to understand that like within this growth, we still have to honor the land that we are in. And we represented that through like the use of imagery with bees. And yeah, the hive mentality of bees is just really commendable. And I feel like we can learn a lot from them to like take care of our home, take care of our neighborhoods, and to work together to grow. Out a couple of other artists with their murals, like Nana, Dr. Tamika. I helped y'all with y'all's for like I want to say a day. I helped Krista with hers, which is why we even started working together on this new mural. I think I helped Alicia one day as well. And yeah, I just feel like it's still full circle. Like it takes that community, it takes that joint effort in order to make something bigger than all of us, you know?
That's an interesting journey. You mentioned that you were looking at bees, and then there's another mural that has butterflies on it. And then you have the mural that was created by Dr. Ellington and Nana, which depicts African American women, or it just depicts women in general and is not specific to any one location. And I can say that because I've had a conversation with Nana on another show about his work. So I want to bring Dr. Ellington and Nana Jari in and have you talk about the great work that you put up on that building that's right there at that intersection across the street from the library that's at 140th and Kinsman. This magnificent mural, the beautiful colors, the Adinkra symbols, and all of the thought that went into that mural. Talk to us about what you created and what it means to you. And also, if you could, talk about the impact that you feel that it's making on the community. And I'm going to ask Tamika Ellington to weigh in first.
The mural that we created is called the Essence of Unity. We wanted to use four women as the representation of guardians, kind of like for the community. We were inspired by some of the women that are known in the Mount Pleasant area. And we used those women and their lives and the impact that they had on the community as inspiration for our mural. We wanted Nana always uses a lot of beautiful bright colors. And so we wanted the mural to have great impact and great color to bring to the neighborhood. It was really important for us to make sure that what we created was something that people could relate to. Uh, a lot of people know Adinkra symbols, and we wanted to use those in the mural as symbols for different elements such as unity, beauty, and others. And it was just important for us to know that the impact that we were having on the community was going to be a great impact. As we were painting, people would come up to us and talk about what we were doing. And we actually had a great location because we were in a parking lot of a business. And as the customers were coming up to the business, almost all the customers were coming by and talking to us and telling us how they enjoyed what we were doing and how they were so impressed and that they were thanking us for the work that we were doing and bringing to the neighborhood.
That's amazing. Now, what about you? What are your thoughts about what you created?
Well, it started, I would say thank you for this great opportunity to be able to share with everybody. First of all, when Robin called me, normally I'm a laid back person. I hardly talk about what I want to do. And so it was kind of a little bit challenge for me. And so I called Dr. Tamika, who happens to be my manager, and I was like, man, initially it wasn't Dr. Tamika that I was paired with. I was paired with somebody, but God always has his own plans for doing what he wants to do. So, um, Robin asked me if I have somebody in mind. I say yes. So I called Tamika, who happens to be my manager, and I discussed everything with her. Upon, I think, three workshops that we went to, she came up with the idea that, look, we need to celebrate women because you are always with women. I said, you're right. And so she did a good research. Um, both of us actually stepped into the community. We engaged the community. I went to the library. I spoke to, older people, both men and women and kids, and what their memories they have. And finally, we were able to so I was told that the first club, as in a recording studio, was actually owned by a lady in that neighborhood. And I heard about the sad story about some women who were killed basically by one person. So I thought that it would be a good idea for us to celebrate the heroes. If it's a man, it's heroes. So I was heroes in that community. So I did a sketch, the first sketch. Tamika was like, no, we can do much better. I know. And working with Dr. Tamika has been a great, great idea. Like the impact is very, you can feel the impact, very impactful. So she came out, was like, no, she's the type of person who is never content with the little things. She would just been pushing. And sometimes I get fed up. But then I was like, well, let me just do it. So we came up with the idea. I gave it to her. She came back again with some symbols in it. I was like, whoa, that's a good idea. Because the whole idea was to make sure that as an artist, that's one thing I love to do is to give back to the society or to the community. So, and I was looking at the neighborhood, which has a lot of diversities, like a lot of people coming from all walks of life. So even the wall that we painted, the guy is from, I think from somewhere in Arab country, and a lot of people who comes to the store are from Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Congo. So in the midst of all this, we said to ourselves that let's do beautiful colors. So even when you pay a critical look at it, it has a lot of African colors, both African colors, European colors. It was a total blend of everybody. So when you take critical look at a painting, you cannot judge. You can't say, oh, they were being racist or they were just picking. It has a blend of everything together with the butterflies, which run through all the mirrors. So because the mirrors were supposed to emerge, make it look like a one, you know, mirror flowing from one another to the other with a butterfly, with the Dinkra symbols, with the colors. And critically, when you look at it, there's something unique about all the artworks, which I don't want to talk about it now. I want the community to benefit from that. And I think so far, Impact 216 actually has elevated a certain level for almost all the artists who participated in it. And that is what I have to say.
We're going to make sure that people are able to see this mural. And I am also looking at the possibility that we can have some type of a presence on the City of Cleveland website so that we can see maybe a sizzle reel or something so folks can get a glimpse at all these different projects. But it's amazing work. For those who remember the Two Cousins building, it was a hair care products building that's right there at the corner of 140th and Kinsman. If you drive down Kinsman and you're westbound, you can look up at that wall and see this beautiful, beautiful mural that has been installed by two great artists. We're going to hear from Lolita, who is managing her vehicle right now, but she also had a role to play in the Transformative Art Fund. Tell us what you did and why this was so important to you. And so you can unmute your microphone. There you go.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm out and about um, doing my chores here in Cleveland. I actually enjoy all facets of Cleveland, and Mount Pleasant is probably one of special one for me because when I was a little girl, I grew up on Dickinson, not far from Kinston. And part of what, when we first started, I actually, can you hear me okay? I'm going to
Yeah, we
pull
hear
over.
you.
I think I'm going to just pull over right quick because it's hard to talk and drive and pay attention. And I'm going to pay. So,
We hear you. Okay, she's lost her audio. But we have with us on the line artist Lolita Wilson. She was one of the principal artists in this Transformative Art Fund project. And there were a few other artists that were involved. Robin, tell us who some of those other artists were. And we'll wait for Lolita to come back in. Your mic is muted, Robin. Okay.
Well, there were, as I said, there were 12 artists altogether. The 12 artists were, and hold on, I need to get my notes because
I can't hear
it's been a while. So of course we had days one. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, so days one
what was the question?
The mentor artist. I think Lolita wants to continue talking.
Lolita, you can hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. We'll bring Robin back in, but give you an
Yes.
opportunity to finish your response.
Thank you.
Okay.
So you were talking about how or what the project meant to you and talking about your involvement in it.
It actually meant a lot to me to have an impact on the creative part of it and who would actually set the stage to develop the community. And what I came up with Darius Stewart was we were talking about it. I said, well, you know, this intersection is pretty busy, and whatever statement that we're trying to say, I think it should be very simply and very concise to what we're trying to say to the community and to ourselves. So I thought about little kids, you know, they should be the ones at this fundamental stage of building. Toddlers would be the the people who would be targeted as far as learning how to structure what they want to see for their future. And so we thought about building blocks, and Legos came up. And so Darius said, that was kind of interesting you brought that up because my son and I are doing some projects with Legos. So his son became our model, and we incorporated the whole entire side of that building to showcase toddlers being the new thinkers, new builders, new architects of their future. And I'm just really happy that it came out the way it did, and I'm really happy that his son was gracious enough to be our model. And I really love working with Darius. He's an excellent a listener, teacher. I learned a lot about the layering of murals at that level, um, and the impact that that mural actually had on the audience as we were building the layers on top of layers. The community actually enjoyed watching the process, and I enjoyed the process too.
Yes.
It was a great experience, and I want to do some more. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the mural that you're talking about is on the building that's at the corner of 140th and Kinsman. It's on the west side of the building. So as you are traveling eastbound on Kinsman, you can look up and see it's a gorgeous, it's an absolutely gorgeous mural. So congratulations to you on such a fine work of art. We're going to step away for just a few moments to get an announcement from our title sponsor, the Cleveland Observer, and we will be back with more 360 Info Network right after this.
Cleveland has stories worth telling and voices that deserve to be heard. That's why the Cleveland Observer is proud to sponsor 360 Info Network with Vince Robinson and Antonio on AM 1490 WERE, where truth, culture, and conversation come together. Each week, host Vince Robinson and Antonio open the door to powerful discussions, from the arts and community history to the issues shaping our neighborhoods today. And the Cleveland Observer is right there with them, shining a light on the people and movements building a stronger Cleveland. Tune in to 360 Info Network and visit cleobserver.com to read, watch, and share more stories that inform, inspire, and unite our community. Because together, we are Cleveland's voice.
Welcome back to 360 Info Network, and our program today focused on the Transformative Art Fund, and most importantly, Impart 216, which is one of the great projects that was involved in that. I want to bring in our brother Antonio, who has listened to some of the commentary about the projects. I'm sure that you have had an opportunity to see some of those murals. If you go up and down Kinsman at any point in time, you live in Cleveland, it's difficult to not do that. So, Brother Antonio, what are your thoughts about what you've seen and what you've heard?
Well, yes, yeah. I think we did mention it one other time on the show, so I did drive by there, and it's definitely lit up that particular corner, with images. And we need to understand that images is, affects the conscious and the subconscious mind, and I think I'm going to tie this all together in dealing with our mindsets as African American people, and some of the issues that that we face as a people and in our community, and how other people have used images to control us and to put us in a negative state of mind because of images. So we as a people have to do more to actually put our message out there, to put our culture, our history, and to indoctrinate, because it's all about an indoctrination, to indoctrinate us in a way that brings us back that pride and that energy and that empowerment that we need, and so images that we can put up all around our community is very important, because images invokes emotions, which evokes actions. It calls people to act based on images. So it all starts from images and things like that. And people have to take pride and ownership into the community as well. So the part about getting people involved and getting the community involved, and like what Robin said, getting going out to the community and asking what they would like to see in their neighborhood, because who best to know that is the people that is living in that particular area. So when you go out there like that and do the research in that area, you would you can actually pick up some jewels and some things that you think that and would let you know the proper imagery that you may need to put in that particular area. It might be when we was talking about it one time, doing an image campaign, a positive image campaign. We talked about putting up some things like showing a young brother with a hoodie, getting up out of the the seat and letting the elderly lady sit down and things like that. So I'm saying, if you're in an area that may have, let's say, a certain type of crime or property crime or violence, towards one another and things of that nature. So might be nice to put an image talking about peace and talking about being helpful and showing the pride in your community. So it's important to you reach out to community and deal with images that would help subconsciously and consciously heal our people.
Well, Brother Antonio, as you speak about the importance of those images, I'm reminded of a trip that the artist team took to Philadelphia back in April, and we looked at several murals. And I think some of the imagery that you are invoking with your concepts of what could be shown is actually part of public art. We can use those images to create the types of dynamics that you're talking about. I'm really curious, Robin, you talked about community impact, and you talked about involving the community on the front end as you were coming up with the ideas and concepts for the images that you created. What kind of feedback have you gotten afterwards? Now that it's in place, what are you hearing from people who are there or people who have observed it? What are they sharing with you about the impact of Impart 216?
Well, it's interesting because I have gotten feedback as far as, because I'm still sort of in that community. I'm still working with the CDC, the councilwoman, Deborah Gray, who has been very helpful throughout this entire thing. Congratulations on your reelection. However, what I hear most is because we're into the winter now. And although the weather in Cleveland is gray and dull and dismal, those murals bring joy to the people in that area. As they walk through, they see those colors. They see that the significance of butterflies in the snow and things like that. So I am getting so much positive feedback from the community. I'm still working with the library there. So, people that see those murals, not even directed to me, they don't know who I am per se. But just hearing the buzz about, how those murals, those colors, that excitement affects them in their everyday life is important to me.
Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this broadcast is going to be uploaded to YouTube. So when we conclude the broadcast, you'll be able to go to the Journey with Antonio and see this. You'll also be able to go to my YouTube channel and see this program. But I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to put up a post on Facebook and post some of the photographs that I've taken of those murals so that you'll be actually able to see the murals as we have described them. And once again, they are absolutely beautiful, stunning images, and they are bringing life to that community. So just know that those of you who are listening to us on the radio, you'll be able to actually see what we're talking about, and then it will have more meaning to you as a result of that. So again, very intentional about bringing these artists to the attention of our community. One of the most important things about the Transformative Art Fund is that it brought about opportunities for healing. We have a lot of conversations about public safety, and I'm gonna beat this until it can't be beaten anymore. We spend a lot of money on weapons. We spend a lot of money on police officers, and we spend a lot of money to protect ourselves from each other. But what I'm saying is we need to give some serious attention to funding for artists so we can facilitate the healing that is necessary so that we don't live in a city where there's so much animosity between each other. Brother Antonio is retired peace officer. I'm going to call him a peace officer because he comes with peace and not negativity. But, being there, you are witness to the dysfunction of our community, because when people get upset with each other and they go to blows, who do they call? They call the police. And sometimes the police show up and they're not equipped to deal with, what they are facing. If you can remember a person by the name of Tanisha Anderson, there were some mental insufficiencies involved in that situation. And when the police showed up and they weren't versed in how to deal with that, she ended up losing her life. So there are things that need to happen, and we have to look at the causes of the dysfunction and not focus on reacting to the results of the dysfunction. That's where we have to get. And that's why we have to put more money into art. We have to bring more art into the schools. We have to have art programs after school so that they can continue to be engaged in what we're doing as artists. And one more thing, the Transformative Art Fund proved the value of art to the city of Cleveland. And that's why we have to continue to let folks know that this can't be the end. You know, we got $3 million in ARPA funds and we did the best that we could with them. But this should just be the beginning and not the end of what we do artistically. So it's great that we have Rhonda Brown in office. She is the strategist, chief strategist for arts, culture, and the creative economy for the city of Cleveland under the leadership of Mayor Justin Bibb. What we need to do is empower her with funds through a line item budget with the city of Cleveland. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, let's break off a piece of that public safety budget if we have to and use it for art. Just to amplify this, and Robin can corroborate this, the city of Philadelphia has $19.15 million that they allocate for art. And 10 million of that 19.15 million goes towards their murals program that was initiated by Mayor Wilson Good back in the day. So the mayor saw a need to employ artists to beautify the city. And it was his response to graffiti, which is another form of art that doesn't receive the same level of respect, obviously, because folks come in and they just put whatever they want, wherever they want, and they don't care. But just getting back to the point, you know, let's fund the arts. Let's put more art back in the schools so that these children have something that they can channel their creative energy into and not be so much about beating up on each other. Nana Ajari, Dr. Tamika Ellington, Journey to Zion. I ain't gonna put your government name out there. We gonna let it be Journey to Zion. And let folks enjoy the journey to Zion now that we know that the journey to Zion is what it is.
Right.
I mean, technically, this is my government name.
Okay, Journey is. Okay. If you could tell us about the event that you were telling us about with Jimmy Woody.
Oh, yeah, I would love to. So next week, the 15th, Thursday through the 17th, Saturday, we'll be doing a theatrical performance, art installation. There's a lot that's going into what we're doing, but it's going to be at Cleveland Public Theater for soft launch. There's going to be a variety of performances, art installations. There's many different things that's happening. But our thing is a theatrical adaptation of Song of My Sisters by Abba. I forget his last name. I'm sorry. But yeah, there's gonna be singing, there's gonna be dancing, there's going to be genuine heartfelt emotion and connectivity. And yeah, it's gonna be me, three other women, Supela, Tamara, Renee. It's just gonna be a lot. Y'all should definitely pull up.
Okay, we'll look forward to that, and I'm sure you can go to the Cleveland Public Theater website if you want information about that program. So thank you for being engaged, for being active, and going to put this out there too. We're looking at Larchmere Cultural Arts Festival #2. Journey was a part of it. Robin was a part of it. Nana didn't get on in this one, but we're gonna make sure that we save a spot for him.
Thank you.
In the festival that will be coming up in July. So I want to thank all of you for joining us. This won't be the last time that we do this. I'm going to add Lolita to the program. She had to dip for a moment. It looks like she's out of the car and into the building. Lolita, thank you for sharing and thank you for being engaged in our message today.
Well, it was my pleasure, and I'm willing to work with all of you guys again. I love the Philadelphia trip. And we really had a good time.
We really did.
And Cleveland is our oasis, and we're gonna make this a beautiful city.
Yes,
you know.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Leave our
No
legacy.
no choice but to do it. And we have very talented folks that will do it. And one last thing, Lolita, we had that dinner on April 4th, 2025.
Yes.
It was so special. I was so happy to spend that time with you. And I thank you for making that day special for me. And
Likewise.
I thank Robin for that too, because she extended the opportunity for me to share in that experience. And I wasn't just hanging out; I was documenting. So I got a lot of photographs and I got video, and we're gonna put that stuff out there so people can see. So again, thank you all, the team members of Impart 216, one of the projects of the Transformative Art Fund 2025 success we saw, and we will continue to see that success move into the future. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
At this time, we are going to welcome to our broadcast Brother Wayne Chandler. I'm going to welcome you all to hang out with us because we're going to be talking about something that you might want to pay attention to. At this point in time, silver is almost at its all-time high. Last week, it went up to almost $84. And the prospects for the increase of the value of that silver are rising rapidly. So if you have not invested in silver or other precious metals, you might want to be looking at that right now, because you will have an opportunity to significantly increase your wealth. If you don't have it, you can have it. And right now is a critical time to be involved in that. So we're going to have Brother Wayne talk to us about what's happening in silver. You got some good news for us, don't you, Brother Wayne?
Yeah, silver's at $80 an ounce.
Okay. So exactly what does that mean? And before you answer the question, I just want to give some folks some insight as to who you are, because many people don't know that we have a treasure in our city. He's written a book. It's called Ancient Future, The Teachings and Prophetic Wisdom of the Seven Hermetic Laws of Ancient Egypt. And I'm telling you, it's one of the most insightful, one of the most impactful books that you could ever read in life. Wayne Chandler served as the researcher for Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, who authored the book They Came Before Columbus. He worked side by side with Dr. Runoko Rashidi, who was a cultural anthropologist who has published several books and has traveled the world to document the existence of Black people, Africans all over the planet. So this is not just everyday brother. This is somebody who has his feet firmly planted on the ground and has been doing a lot of research as well. And we're going to get the benefit of that research today. So with all of that said, having to give you your proper introduction, Brother Wayne B. Chandler, and you can talk to us about what's happening with silver right now.
Yeah, silver probably is one of the most undervalued assets that we have. I mean, it's just been of late that it has been reassigned a position as a strategic metal by Donald Trump, to put it in a category of extreme relevance and value, because silver's been manipulated in terms of its price for about 150 years. And the last, several decades, it's come under the dominance of what are known as the bullion banks. And the bullion banks, their whole focus was pretty much the monopoly and misdirection of what silver is, was, and could be to the general population. So we came up believing that silver had very little to no value, and therefore we never really looked at it, as an investment opportunity. And that was just a horrific position to take with respect to all of what silver does. And one of the things that probably we need to look at is, well, what is it that silver does that makes it such a unique and outstanding asset in the industrial and the monetary system. You know, when we stop and we look at the whole push now for electric vehicles, most of us are unaware that the batteries for electric vehicles are upheld and maintained by their silver content. And without silver, electric vehicle batteries would not exist. We don't stop and think that the entire solar industry is upheld and supported by the silver content that goes into the making of the solar panels. We don't stop to think that silver is instrumental and invaluable in maintaining just the electrical output and flow in cell phones, in computers. The military uses silver in its Tomahawk missiles, its torpedoes, its satellite systems. Silver goes in to all of these different aspects that we utilize on the daily. And we don't stop to think, well, what is it that bonds, that holds all of this together? And silver is that thing. You know, silver is the most reflective of all metals. It's used to make mirrors, infrared applications as well. It's the most conductive of all material, you know. So when we stop and we think about the various dynamics that silver brings to the table, like you can get silver clothing now. I use silver washcloths, you know, because silver is antimicrobial. You know, it pushes back against, you know, infectious disorders, kills bacteria, you know, so they use it in wastewater purification systems. You know, silver has so many different uses that when you stop and you look at it, you don't even stop to think that, well, it's also money. Silver is also money all over the world. And so what's happened of late that has really thrown a wrench into how silver operates and flows through industry, corporate, you know, stability, is China has stepped up and stated that as of January 1st, they will no longer be exporting silver out of their country. Now, you have to create perspective around this. So that perspective is that China controls 70% of silver distribution. They control like 80% of the whole mining dynamic in terms of taking silver that's been mined and turning it into usable product for the world that goes into the EVs, the solar industry, that goes into the military, that goes into computers, cell phones. China is responsible for making all of that happen. So when China sets up and states that it no longer is going to export silver out of its country. And it is the second largest miner of silver in the world, Mexico being the first. But Mexico takes all of its silver and ships it over to China where it's refined.
Okay, so what we're looking at is a supply shortage, and the supply shortage is going to result in higher prices being paid for silver because the manufacturers who need that silver are going to be willing to pay whatever they have to pay to get it, and then they'll pass the cost off to the consumer who buys the finished product at the end of that. We're going to step away for just a few moments and come back on the other side exclusively on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Our guest is Wayne Chandler, the author of Ancient Future, The Teachings and Prophetic Wisdom of the Seven Hermetic Laws of Ancient Egypt. We're going to talk silver. We're also going to talk about cryptocurrency in the second half. We got just a few moments before we wind the broadcast down. I just want to make sure that I mention that we're going to have an event at Larchmere Arts, and we're going to be bringing in someone from Philadelphia to talk about Kemetic astrology. It's a topic that you might be interested in, Brother Wayne, because I'm sure that you're familiar with the folks who are facilitating it as the Asara Society International. So we'll plug you in on that as well. We want to give our engineer, Tone Harley, his props for making this broadcast possible. We also want to give our props to Brother Antonio for creating and founding this program that allows us to have this platform of information and cultural significance. With that, know yourself, love yourself, be yourself. Make it a great day, Cleveland. Peace.
Peace.
All right. Again, if you are with us on YouTube, you can go to the Journey with Antonio. You can subscribe to his channel and help him out to do what he can to bring this type of content to you. You can also go to my YouTube channel, do the same, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you get notifications about when we post content. It helps us significantly. Also wanted to mention, if it's still on, Brother Wayne Chandler is going to be doing a retreat in Cambodia. I think it was in March. Is that still going forward, Brother Wayne?
It is still going forward, and that is March, the end of March, and people can go to my website, which is waynebchandler.com, to get the information from the landing page there.
All right. We'll make sure to put a link to your website in the description for this video, and then people will have an easy way to get there. One of the reasons that you are going there is as the work of your colleague and dear brother, Dr. Runoko Rashidi, demonstrated that there are Africans all over the world. And I think part of your rationale for going there is to connect with that presence of Africans on that side of the globe.
Without a doubt.
Okay. So we're talking about silver today. And the reason that we are is because there's so much going on. Robin has asked us, how do you buy silver? And we're definitely going to give her information about that, because we have resources that will allow you to connect with the precious metal and do what you can to increase your portion. You know, we talked about this, Wayne, in meetings that we've had over the past 4 or 5 years, particularly in the last year or so. And it's been stated that 60 to 70% of America doesn't have more than $500 in their savings, which means that we're not saving money and we're not investing money. And money is being used to control us through wages, through taxes, through so many different things, which is why we have to be focused on what we can do to generate and create for ourselves and push back against an agenda that wants to take everything away from us. I mean, we're living in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth that has ever happened on the planet.
Yes, true.
You know, and you can be a part of the transfer of wealth, or you can sit on the sidelines and watch other folks fatten their pockets and do whatever they can to control. So you mentioned the supply shortage, which is really key. You may not have alluded to the paper to silver ratio, but a lot of people own silver on paper, but they don't actually own the commodity itself. And when everybody comes to the entities that have sold them those contracts, those ETFs, those exchange traded funds, and they say, I want my silver, there's not going to be enough of it to go around. And I think that's going to be what has the impact on the price. Can you talk a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, sure. The bullion banks, when they formed their association, one of the things they felt they needed to do was to create the silver paper market. And it wasn't just silver; it was also gold. Gold was also included in the paper market as well. And the paper market is set up. I mean, it's illegal in terms of what they do. It's morally corrupt in terms of what they do. But because it upholds a large section of the entire financial and global industry, people turn a blind eye, to what it is that they do with respect to price manipulation. So when you look at, for example, you go to the usdebtclock.org, you'll go over all the way to the far right, and you'll see the actual price of the dollar to ratio silver price, and also its ratio to gold. And you go down a little bit, and then you'll see the paper to silver ratio. And the paper to silver ratio right now is 356 to 1. And what that means is that 356 individuals own the same 1 ounce of silver. And so when people set up their 401ks, they set up their IRA accounts, and they think that they're really ahead of the game, they come to find out, especially now, because in the here and now, people are really stressing after their metals. Whereas in previous years, their 401s, their IRAs, they would say, well, I no longer want to hold my silver account. And they say, fine, you want to cash out in your silver account, we can do that for you. And the way they did it was to pay you in fiat money, paper dollars. And people were satisfied with that exchange. Now people are not satisfied with the exchange because of where the dollar sits in the global financial system. And they want the real metal. And so this has created a shortage of the metal, which is really elevating the price of the metal. And right now, like just premiums alone, and premiums are the dollar price that's put on silver from its basic
The spot price.
So the spot price right now for silver, like for example, is $80 an ounce. The premium that goes over top of that can be anywhere between, depending on the company that you're going to, can be anywhere between $30 to $90. And that premium right now is going stratospheric. So if you're going to make a move and begin to invest in the silver market, if you're going to look at silver as an asset that can literally change your life. Like Kevin O'Leary right now, the guy from Shark Tank, that's his whole focus. He's telling people, I told you about gold, you missed gold. I'm out here now, I'm telling you about silver. Don't miss silver, because silver is going to generate millionaires, multimillionaires, if you have the necessary assets to step yourself into the silver game.
Antonio's gonna jump in, and yeah,
Mhm.
I got you, bro. But we're also going to talk about how you can buy silver, because Robin is asking the question, and we definitely want to let her know and everyone else know. But Antonio,
Yeah, just basically, you're right. We've got to understand that we're dealing with this shift, this global shift, and it's going to come at you in several ways, through the crypto, through the precious metals, and things like that. Because we know that they're phasing out this dollar, and they're probably going to, I know the penny and probably the rest of the coins is going to be shortly going out the door as well. And Wayne, I
Pennies
don't know
are
if you
$5.19 today.
said it one more time.
Pennies, 1 cent, is now worth $5.19.
Wow.
1 penny.
So all them folks that be going around picking up pennies, and we stepping over pennies.
I used to throw pennies away.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody gonna be fighting for them little pennies
I'm
on the ground.
regretting that now. Believe me.
That's funny. Hey, Wayne, if you familiar with excuse me, I forgot the name of the particular group. It was like in Southern Africa. It's about 22 countries got together and was dealing with some crypto a union that they were putting together. I forgot what the name of the organization was. That. So all this I'm saying is that how that crypto market and that digital market is how it's coming together there, and it's going to be take us into the future and dealing with it, because we talk about it all the time, that currency, the dollar bill that we have right now is only about 3% of paper money that is out there, and then the rest is just numbers and figures and things of that nature. So they've been prepping us for this move for a while. But the one thing that I see globally is that other countries, in breaking themselves free from the United States dollar, is organizing this little crypto collaboration in order to do their business for their country.
well, it sounds like you're describing the BRICS, and it may
No.
not be BRICS.
Yeah, it's not the BRICS. It's another little group. I forgot the name of the group. Maybe I'll look it up while we're doing this. But yeah, it's like 22 countries. It's more towards the southern part of Africa that they're joining together with their crypto situation.
Okay, Wayne.
Yeah, BRICS, they're moving, their spotlight is more focused on the metals. They're looking more at silver and gold in terms of being the stabilizing factor for their global financial positioning. But I think one of the things that people don't understand is, and this is why I was given the basic background of the importance of silver, is that silver really undergrids the entire financial industry. The whole financial market, is really built on silver. When America first established, its financial system and what that was going to look like, it was based on a silver standard, not a gold standard. And a lot of people don't realize that. And because of the value of silver, they've put so much focus and energy into its manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And there are stories, that people would just really find hard to believe as to the lengths that the powers that be have gone to make sure that silver stays an unknown asset.
So you talk about manipulation, and you can flash back a few years ago when the Hunt brothers manipulated the market, and
Right.
so now you're seeing a similar dynamic with JP Morgan Chase is essentially trying to do the same thing, but it's not going to happen because the conditions aren't proper for that. But I want to focus on the importance of silver and distinguish it from US dollars, because we've always had this mindset that cash is king, that you want to have an abundance of cash. But the issue is there's too much of it. And when you look at something like silver, you have a small amount of it and you have a huge demand for it. So one thing that you did for me, Wayne, and I am forever grateful to you for making this suggestion, and that was to roll over funds from an individual retirement account, which is based on stocks and mutual funds and all that other kind of stuff, and move it into precious metals. And as a direct result of that,
Yeah.
I've been able to quadruple my retirement account since the time that you told me about that. And the
Yeah, I
reason,
was sweating you heavy, man. We at the gym, I'd be like, man, you gotta.
yeah, well, I caved in. I
Yeah,
took
you
your
caved
advice,
in.
and I'm so pleased, especially since silver is at $80 an ounce. But again, getting to the reason that this is important, and I'm going to get to Robin's question and answer as soon as I can. The reason that it's important is that if you have your money sitting anywhere as cash, if you have it in a savings account, if you have it in a checking account, if you have it in a 401k, it's evaporating as it sits
Right,
because inflation is eating away at the value of that money.
right,
At one point, our currency used to be a store of value. Before 1965, they put silver in those coins. And as a result, those coins are worth more than the face value because they have silver, which is a tangible product, a tangible thing that increases in value over time, as we have seen. But when
right.
you look at the US dollar, because they've created so much of it, it loses value every day. And on top of that, when you have your money sitting in a retirement account, they're also taking fees. And
Right.
that fee might be 1, it might be 2% of the value of your account. So you got inflation, you've got fees eating away at the value of your money.
And you've
But
got
if
to
you
pay your
move,
brokers.
yeah, exactly, you got to pay your brokers. And that's another thing that people don't realize. When
Right.
you accumulate this silver and you sell the silver, whoever's a part of the sale of that silver, they're going to take a cut too.
Yep.
So you're going to have to give up something to get back something. And that's another reason to make these investments now, that the silver is priced where it is, because it's going to increase in value. Some are saying, it might hit $100 an ounce. Some are saying it might hit $330 an ounce. I've heard 386 chosen as a special number. Some folks like, silver bugs or gold bugs like Lynette Zhang are saying at some point it might be $1,300 an ounce. So if you just do the math, you can acquire silver now, whether it's $80, whether there's a correction and it goes down to $72, whatever. If you see the price go down, that just means you can buy more. But you can't go wrong right now. And I'm not a financial advisor. This is information, entertainment, and education only. I can't tell you what to do, and you can consult a professional. Okay, don't take my word for it. Do your homework. But to me, it just makes sense to buy something at $72 an ounce and watch it go up in value to $100 an ounce. And guess what? You just got a third more than you had before you made the investment. So that is exactly where we are now. Now, to the question of where you can get it from. There are online platforms like Miles Franklin, like I think it was 7K, like Money Metals, others. You can go to these websites and you can make the purchase of that silver, and they will actually ship it to you. And then you have it in your own possession, or you can put it in, your a safe or whatever. You can do that. You can also have your silver vaulted. My silver is in a vault right now. If I wanted to put my hands on it, I couldn't put my hands on it today. I'd have to go through that broker that Wayne mentioned. But that's something that's just part of the process. But the main thing is that you acquire the silver. And Robin and others who may be interested, there are different programs that I can connect you with that you can acquire silver, and we'll talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of that. But the main thing is that you want to start acquiring silver because it is going to grow in value, and it can be one of the ways that you increase your wealth. Anything you want to add to that, Wayne?
Yeah, I mean, really, silver is going to explode in its value, and we aren't schooled with respect to financial infrastructure and design. We really come up with the short end of the stick with respect to our knowing, our knowledge, our under and understanding of how money works. If we understood that the dollar right now has lost, and this is statistic, this is mathematical precision, the dollar has lost 97% of its value. 97%. So if you knew that the money you're using, that all of what you're doing out in the world on the daily is pretty much a financial hallucination, you would really look elsewhere to create the kind of security and financial stability that you're going to need to really move from day to day, because all of what you're doing right now is an illusion when it comes to financial stability. It's all an illusion. And so you want to step into the real. You want to take your investment, whatever you have, if you got 401s, IRAs, whatever, you want to roll those over into silver and gold, and that can be done easily. That can be done.
Yeah, go ahead, Lynn.
No, go ahead. Mhm.
I was just going to say it's not something that even costs money. You can roll your silver over, or you can roll your retirement money over into a precious metals account, and there's no cost for it. You don't have to
Right.
pay for that. The
Right.
only time you do pay is when you take the money out. And I recall back in the day when I took some out, I had to pay 20% tax on it, but it was worth it that at the time, and it wasn't taxed at the 30, 33, 34, 40% tax rate that some things are taxed at. So you can't avoid, unless you are versed in trusts and all that other kind of stuff, you can't avoid paying taxes. It's just part of life. But again, when you see your wealth increase to the extent that it does, then that taxation is just a small price to pay for that. So
Yeah, and there are other outlets too, because people listening to this are going to ask, okay, well, silver holds immense value, but I can't walk into a store with a silver coin if I'm not living in the right state that has made silver and gold legal tender. The last state to do that was this past summer, which was Florida. DeSantis has made silver and gold legal tender, which means you can walk in to any establishment using silver and using gold to pay for various commodities. But there are other types of setups, where, UPMA, which is a bullion bank, United Precious Metals Association. It is a bullion bank that when you sign up and have an account with this bullion bank, UPMA, they will give you a debit card connected directly to your account. And there are a couple of other establishments, that have done the same. Vince, I believe you're locked into one that is based out of London. That is gold oriented. So for people who are saying, well, I can't walk into, a merchant outlet, with a silver coin, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't need to do that at this point. It will become something that will be a viable means, in which I feel it will be the very near future. But at this particular point in time, you can have a debit card that you can use anywhere in the world. They're internationally designed. You can use it anywhere. And you can walk into any type of a merchant outlet and you can buy and pay for anything from the taxes, property taxes, to bubble gum. So that's one of the things, that you want to be mindful of, is that there are, other ways, to carry this opportunity forward. And you don't have to be, trying to second guess, well, how am I going to use my silver in the real world?
So, Brother Wayne, what about things other than coins? Of We may have silverware, we may have other things that have silver in them, and there are local folks that can assist us with determining the value of it. Can you talk about having the constitutional silver that you spoke about, but also what should you do if you have silverware, if you have jewelry or other things that have
Yeah,
silver in it?
you can go into most coin shops. Most coin shops that sell silver will take your silver jewelry, your gold jewelry. They will also take your silverware if it's been authenticated. In other words, it's silver through and through and not silver plated. Silver plated is a whole different kind of animal. But if you have real silver ware that, say, has been handed down to you from your grandmother and grandfather, or an aged aunt and uncle, what have you, you can literally take that silverware into a coin dealer and they will weigh it for you and they will pay you the spot price that silver is worth. The other piece is that if you have coins, a lot of us, from our grandparents did what a lot of us have done with respect to like silver, dimes, quarters, half dollars, silver dollars, have taken those things and thrown them in a huge jar where they remain to this day. Any silver that you have that was minted prior to 1965 has a 90% silver content. And that silver is very, very valuable. So you can look at a mercury head dime today, and that mercury head dime is worth, in general, $13 a dime, $13. A walking Liberty half dollar is $48. A standing Liberty quarter is $53. And you can follow up and verify these prices on moneymetals.com. You can go to Money Metals and see what it is they're selling these coins for per coin, to get an idea of what you might have, as a class of assets.
Okay.
One thing
Wanna
I want to
move?
bring into
Go ahead,
the
Glenn.
conversation before we roll off.
Yeah.
One of the things to bring. Oh, did you have a screen to put up or something? You was finished?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Yeah. One of the things I want to bring into the conversation too, for people, that got the mental capacity, expanded about into a global type of approach of things. We are familiar. Well, I would think that most of us familiar with the whole BRICS situation, and why that, huh?
No, we're not.
Okay, well,
A handful of us are familiar.
yeah, right. So with that, and why the BRICS situation even came about, and just giving a brief background that, and guess and bringing it straight out is just saying that those particular countries like Russia and China was tired of America weaponizing their dollar
Yeah.
across the globe.
Yeah.
And so with the formation of BRICS and with this global shift, Russia, China, India, and them is going to play a major part in this whole global shift. So for those who may have the, the know-with-all and the fortitude to want to move forth and thinking globally, it may behoove some of us to start looking at those particular type of currencies, or what the BRIC currency and what other crypto stuff that may be forming on the other side of the globe that you may can partake in. You know what I mean? So don't limit yourself. It's all about diversifying and things like that. Definitely with the silver, the gold, platinum, copper, and things like that. But look at seeing what's developing on the other side of the globe as well. Because at one time, we was talking about forex and investing in other countries' currencies and things of that nature. But since the globe is going into this whole blockchain and crypto and digital foundation, so see what's forming on these other areas, because if you can't be sleep, you not to know that America's going through some trying times right now in this financial situation, and I think that
nobody knows that.
I think that we are on a trajectory of isolating ourselves from the rest of the world. So you might want to get a part of what's going on the other side of the globe.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
we
brother,
walk around in the state of somnambulism. We're sleepwalkers. Nobody knows what's going on in the world. Nobody knows what's going on in this country. They have no idea. And that's why 95% of the people in this country are going to be blindsided when the economy begins to collapse. I tell you this, by the time we exit 2026, everybody will know what time it really is. And during the time between now and the end of 2026, if you've made some moves which will turn out to be substantial, you'll be fine.
okay.
If you have not made those strategic moves, you will have hell to pay.
So, speaking of strategic moves, I want to give our viewing audience something that they can use to make some things happen right away. So, we've established that you can purchase silver, but you mentioned essentially what amounts to a bullion bank. You mentioned United Precious Metals Association. And so what we can do is suggest to you different places that you can buy silver or gold but then you can ship your silver or your gold or whatever precious metals to United Precious Metals Association, and you can actually generate more money by putting your money into that situation. One program within United Precious Metals Association that I'm familiar with is their gold back leasing program. So you have gold backs, which are essentially polymer instruments. It's not paper, but it's some type of polymer, and there is gold infused into that polymer, and you have different denominations. So you might have a $5 denomination or a $10 or a $20 denomination. But the bottom line is that there is gold, there's gold in that instrument, and you can use it to buy things in different states in this country. But what you can do is you can basically deposit your gold backs with UPMA. They'll hold them for you for a year, and they will pay you interest on what you have in your account, and they'll do it on a monthly basis. So you're actually earning dividends from your precious metal. So obviously, the more you have in your account, the more you're going to get back on a monthly basis or a yearly basis, if that's your choice. But the bottom line is that your precious metal is actually making money, as opposed to the other situation that we talked about where your account is taking money away from you.
Exactly.
So this is why we want to encourage folk to do this, because you can significantly increase your holdings if you participate in programs like that. You want to give them a little more insight on UPMA, Wayne?
Yeah, UPMA, as I said earlier, you know, they give you a debit card to your account, and you know, they have a variety of different ways you can access different monetary metals. So right now, gold is $4,500 an ounce. Most people in our community are not going to be able to afford that. But at UPMA, as you just stated, with the gold backs, you can go in and you can purchase gold backs, and because they are infused with actual gold, as gold rises in value, your gold backs will also rise in value, which adds, more value to your account. They also have what are called gold dollars. Gold dollars, the last time I checked, because of the price of gold, the last time I checked, the gold dollar was about $92. And it may be more than that now, because gold is really on a tear. But you can invest in gold dollars, and that gives you direct connection to the actual gold market. So you can begin to earn a position and really utilize that position in the gold market through just picking up gold backs and gold dollars that UPMA offers. They have so many different programs within the banking system that just rival anything you could find in most banking institutes.
Mm-hmm.
Let me add something else here too. And Wayne, what do that kind of remind you of about them interwoven that polymer with gold and lining? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, with the carrot bar.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that was a big carrot bars.
It was before its time.
It was before its time, but see,
Mm-hmm.
they got shut down by Deutsche Bank and the German government.
Mm-hmm.
They came after carrot bars. Carrot bars was talking about a gold-backed cryptocurrency.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They had their own gold mines. They were getting ready to turn the whole world upside down.
Mm-hmm.
And Deutsche Bank said, "Oh, hell no." You're
Yeah,
not doing this.
yeah. That was a good thing, and I guess eventually that's where I think crypto's going to go. I was looking at something one time with the crypto genius, and he was talking about with people that may be interested in investing in cryptocurrency. He said a lot of it is not going to amount to anything. He said, but invest in, because it's what, how many 10, 20,000 cryptocurrencies, whatever. But he said a lot of it may not come to any amount to anything. He said, but invest in the ones that has a function on doing something, like
Real world
XRP
value.
and things of that nature, So he mentioned that. But what I wanted to throw in also another part of the investment when we're talking about diversifying, again, these are for those who, is looking outside and looking, worldwide and global on some things. If Africa is the new frontier, and China and Russia and even America itself is trying to get a part or get a piece of Africa,
They've got
all
pieces.
that infrastructure somebody has to build. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And somebody has to build those roads, raw materials, and things of the same. So it's worth you doing some investigation and some research, and then seeing what those country plans are, and seeing where you can get into some of that stock situation, because their stock situation is totally different from ours. I mean, some of those returns is 30. We looked at some years ago, 30-40%. Returns on some of that, because they're building roads, they're building. So we always on the tail end of everything, the last to know anything. So if you're seeing the trend of these big companies going into Africa and start and talking about building, the infrastructure and railways and things like that. So we should be looking as Black folks, okay, somebody is dealing with raw materials and building supplies. What banks are funding these projects? Maybe you can buy some bond, type issues over there, things like that. So, and that's another part of diversifying your portfolio and being in front of the curve, and looking at that, rather than just sit back and watching it build up and we're not a part of it at all, or nobody being a part of it, just all rich folks. That's another part of investment strategies and diversifying that we can look at.
One of the things that allows that to take place is stepping outside of survival mode. And it's a step-by-step process. So what we're talking about right now with the investment into like silver, because they call silver the poor man's asset, and it's anything but that. Silver historically has always outperformed gold, always, and it's going to do the same in this run. But you need to have a launching pad. And silver right now is that launching pad that will allow people to step out of survival mode. And once you're outside of survival mode, then your ability to look into other areas for creative, and essential programming takes hold. And the key is really getting out of the mindset that we're in. We invest in all these programs. I mean, man, food stamps and all these other programs that are put on the table for us to adhere to and utilize on the daily. And we don't stop to think what that does to our mentality, that what that does to our consciousness as a creator and a investor, one who has the potential to create and generate an entrepreneurial mindset. All of that gets shut down when you have the government handing out money to you every single day. People come to me all the time, talk, oh, Trump doing this, oh, Trump doing that. I'm like, don't worry about that. Focus on you and what it takes to develop your own design in all of this and move with that.
So, Brother Wayne, again on UPMA, you have talked about how you put in an amount and then over time it increased. And you were saying that for every dollar that silver goes up in price, you've gotten $100. Can you talk about?
It's 150. I checked the price last night. It's it's $100.53. That's what I get every time silver goes up $1 in my UPMA account. That's what I get, because UPMA, like in the stock market, they pay based on percentage increases and not dollar to dollar increase.
Okay. So again, definitely a wealth building tool. And when we look at the potential for the increase in the price of silver and the value of silver, if you're in an account like United Precious Metals Association, you can significantly increase your holdings in that.
Yes, big time. And you can buy from them because UPMA is aligned with a mining operation, which is called Alpine Silver and Gold. They are a mining operation, and together with UPMA, they produce and have access to metals. You know, the metal, of course, is the silver, dollar, but you can purchase your silver dollars directly from UPMA. You can purchase your gold dollars directly from UPMA.
But let me ask a question too. You know, I'm an African man, so I'm going to. As far as those mines is concerned, where does a bulk of the mining geographically take place? You know, I know there's a lot of gold mine digging in Africa, isn't it?
Africa has very deep investments in its mining operation. You know, there are a couple, maybe about 3 solid mines in southern Africa that produce very, very well gold and to some degree silver. Ghana has a very outstanding gold production mining system that's been in play, but it's overseen by Europe, by the UK. They got in there in the early 1900s and gave the Ghanaian government, I think, something like $100, to oversee the mine and be able to take out billions of dollars from the mine. And of course they got completely ransacked and taken to the cleaners.
Only.
Which is that's our swan song as Black people on planet Earth at this time. Is finding all the different ways we can be taken to the cleaners. But Mexico has the largest silver mining system that we know of, and China is second to Mexico with respect to its silver reserves.
Okay.
Yeah. Guess where else they have silver? Venezuela. And we're not going to talk about what happened last week. But that's a critical piece of it. They have silver mining operations in Peru as well. But what people need to also understand that silver mining is a byproduct in many cases of the
Right.
mining of other materials. So they might be
Right.
mining for something else, and then they pull up an ore that has silver in it. And so it's kind of a secondary thing. But I think what we really have to understand right now, this is a critical piece, and that is the shortage of silver on the planet. They
Right.
don't have the same shortages when it comes to gold. But a lot of the silver that is needed right now is still in the ground, and it's going to take time to even get things in place to be able to pull that out of the earth. And at the same time, you have the United States positioning itself with creating its own refineries so that they can get in on some of the action, so that they can start making use of silver as it relates to the economy and so forth and so on. So you really have to dig into this and understand how this silver shortage is going to fuel a massive increase in the amount of silver. And that's why now is the time to get in. To use a parallel, we haven't talked too much about cryptocurrency, but there's a cryptocurrency called XRP. And XRP is a significant aspect of the new financial system that's in place. Just like when you look at silver, it's a massive part of the new vehicle programs that we have. They want to increase the numbers of EVs that are out there on the roads. They want to push back on petroleum consuming vehicles. So because they want to save the planet, they're pushing us into um, electric vehicles. Well, silver is a major part of that. Same thing with the solar panels. They want to move away from fossil fuels and using solar panels. And the solar panels have that silver that is an aspect of the fabrication and the construction of those panels. And then I think you mentioned it earlier, Brother Wayne, about the military. They use silver to make missiles and to make instruments and do all kinds of things. So there's this huge demand for silver, and it's a demand that at present cannot be met.
Cannot be met.
It's just not there. It's not mined out of the ground. It's not sitting in depositories somewhere. Silver is leaving the places where it's being stored to protect the interests of countries like China, countries like Russia, countries like India. They're stockpiling silver right now.
Yeah.
So they're creating this huge demand for it. So, y'all really have to listen here, because you can go ahead and get your silver now before it becomes
Unobtainable.
unobtainable. You can't afford it. The word that I was looking for was unaffordable. Well, with XRP, and this is a cryptocurrency that's used for these financial systems, it's the same thing. You can get it now while it's at a relatively low price, but at a certain point, it's going to be unaffordable. It's going to be like Bitcoin. Who's got $90,000 to buy Bitcoin? If you ain't got $500 to meet an emergency, you definitely do not have $90,000 to purchase a Bitcoin. But if you got $2, you can buy XRP today. And it's as simple as going to a decentralized exchange, which really ain't that simple, or going to a centralized exchange like Coinbase or Binance or Uphold or any of the other centralized exchanges. And then you can buy XRP and you can start stacking it the same way you're stacking your silver. And you look down the road, XRP goes from $2 to $100. What's the increase there? That's a massive increase, and that's in the future for XRP, and probably not the far distant future, but in the relatively near future, you'll be able to do that. So if you don't take anything away from this today, know that there are two things that you can do. Again, not financial advice, but there are two things that you can do right now in terms of acquiring assets that will grow and provide a tremendous benefit to you and your family. And that would be get you some silver, get you some XRP. If you want to reach out to us, I'm going to put email addresses in the description for this video, and you can reach out to us individually, get some information. We'll be putting together a list of places that you can acquire precious metals from. We're going to give you information about how you can connect with United Precious Metals Association, UPMA, and then you can start stacking and letting your money work for you, because that's really the key, Brother Wayne. We talk about this all the time. The difference between those of us who work jobs and those of us who have trust funds and assets, you know, the folks who are working for their dollars, they go to sleep, they wake up the next morning, and they're looking at the eternal question, how do I pay my debts? But then you have the other folks who have money working for them. And when they go to sleep at night, they wake up the next morning and they have more money than they had before they closed their eyes the night before. And that's the position that we have to put ourselves in, so that we're not locked into the slavery of debt, because that's the slavery that nobody's talking about. We talk about brothers being incarcerated and all these other kinds of things, but we don't talk about the debt slavery that exists. If you have student loan debt and you transition and you have children, guess who has the debt now? Your children have become enslaved by your debt because they got to pay it because you didn't finish paying it off.
Right.
With the estate, you know, if you know, do probate and you owe those big hospital bills, they're coming after, you know, the assets that the loved one left, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we get into our elder years and then they start looking at our assets in ways that they can use the healthcare industry to take those things away from us. You know, but when you position yourself properly and you get out of the financial illiteracy paradigm that folks exist in, and you get to the financial literacy paradigm. You know, a few weeks ago, we had Mbwebe Ishange on the program, and he was talking about how you could use life insurance as a means of finding money that you could borrow against, that you wouldn't have to be taxed on. You could purchase real world assets, purchase something that's going to make money for you. You know, these are things that we can do when we know what to do and how to do. But they don't share that information with us so that we can benefit the same way that they've benefited from having this knowledge. So we have to take ourselves to a place where we know what to do. And, you know, we don't have any excuses now because we live in the information age. You all you got to do is boot up your computer and you get all kinds of information that you can use to grow your wealth. So that's definitely what we want to do. And today I just wanted to give you some tools. So if you reach out to us, we'll get back to you. We'll make some suggestions in terms of places that you can acquire your precious metals, but also places where you can put your precious metals so that they will grow. And then we're going to have you back sometime in the near future, Wayne, and we can dive more into the XRP situation, because you just kind of touched on it today, but there's a certain level of urgency with silver right now.
It's urgency, I think, in silver for sure. And you know, it can't be understated. But you know, the whole world is about to change drastically. You know, we talk about this all the time as well. You know, that everything is going digital. You know, that everything is going to be placed upon the blockchain. So, you know, you're looking at a lot of assets, you know, now, you know, looking to be tokenized, and even silver, even gold. You know, you have operations like Kinesis, for example, that take silver and take gold and digitize it, you know. So, you know, there's so much that people need to become aware of so that they can become prepared for.
Mhm.
And it's a wake up call.
Yes.
You
Absolutely.
can see where all that's going, because what, like you said before, about how they place that that MPMA, I mean UPMA, how you can transform that stuff into a card, to a digital card, and they're using that. So you can see where they're going with that. They're going all that for, like you just said, gold and different other entities is going to transform that into some type of way that you can, through plastic, you can put Ethereum on a card and use it and purchase things like that. So everything is going to be tokenized like that, and placed easily, for you to conduct your business with, with
Yeah.
snap the card, just like, and you pulling gold, off your card, you pulling silver off your card, you
Yep.
pulling other resources off your card and using it
And
as
getting a
legal
lot
tender.
more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
When
And
you use precious metals from your account, you're
Mhm.
getting a lot more bang for your buck.
Yeah, I can see that.
the other thing too that's important about this paradigm is you becoming your own bank.
Yes.
Because when you become your own bank, then you have more control over what you now have as assets. When your
Yep.
money's in the bank, it's a liability to the bank. It's not an asset.
Mhm.
Just like that house that you're paying a mortgage on, you have the idea that it's an asset, but it's a liability because your house is not making you money.
Right.
It's taken
Right.
away from you. You got to put new roofs on. You got to get
Yep.
the plumbing repaired. It's just a drain. You got to pay insurance. A house is not always a wise choice, but they have brainwashed us into thinking that it's an asset.
Well,
But it's really something that the
mhm.
bank owns. You don't own the house,
Okay.
and you never see the money.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
never see the money. When you make that down payment on the house, usually you write a check.
And the
You don't
bank
walk in
you
there with a
do that.
briefcase
Mhm.
full of cash.
Right,
It's
right.
it's just transactional.
The
And
rest of
then when you sign all those documents that they say, oh yeah, just initial here, put your
Right.
signature there, and you didn't read the whole document, and basically what you've done is you turned over certain rights that you might have to them so that they have complete and total control. And think about this. You could pay on a mortgage for 29 years and 2 months, never missed the payment, never missed the payment. And you've paid way more than that house was worth over that period of time because you took out the loan, they put interest on the loan. And so that house may have been $100,000 house, but you spent $300,000 on it to acquire it. And then you
Mhm.
miss two payments and the bank takes the house away from you.
Gangster.
Yeah. Or your
That-
property taxes. Say you even
Yeah.
own the house,
yeah.
but you got to pay the property taxes that the house is sitting on.
Mhm.
You miss payments on those.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're reading about your house in the paper. That
Right.
is up for sale.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. They
That-
they took it away
Well, we'll
from you.
see.
So
Yeah, I read something 2 days ago where Trump said we won't have to pay property taxes anymore. So let's see if that becomes a reality.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all gangster. Something, in the business world. I sold real estate for some years and got into the whole finance aspect of, and one of the models of an investor that they say is, just like with most things, look at what the masses is doing and do the opposite. More than likely you'll be further ahead,
No question.
So speaking on those things when Vince was saying something about being your own bank, see, we was trained to put our money in banks, but
Right.
rich folks invest in banks or become a bank. You know what I'm trying to say? So, so just a little tidbit on that, and we just follow. So, and pretty much you can use that in most of your travels and the things that you are caught up in and doing. Look at what the masses of the people are doing, and most likely a lot of times do the opposite. because you'll be a lot of times more further ahead. So if they offering this, if this thing is offering and everybody on it, take a look at it. Take a look at it. See what else that is out there that you may can get into that most is not available and known all the way around in the public. You know what I mean? Like investing in Africa. Ain't nobody thinking about that. Investing, buying stocks or bonds in these banks in Africa. We sit back and looking at them building up. They building up, but somebody got to, as far as the raw materials, somebody got to finance that stuff and things like that. Who's doing that? And we weren't trained and we're not, plugged in to looking at things like that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but that's why China steps in, because they see that we're sleepwalking. So they're going to take advantage.
Yes.
All right.
Well, all right. Well, we're going to wind things down right now. One more mention, Brother Wayne, if you would like to give us the details about Cambodia 2026.
Yeah, it's the end of March, and you can go to my website, which is WayneBChandler.com. My name, WAYNE, the letter B as in Bravo, and CHAND as in David, LER.com. You can go to my website, and there you can pull up the landing page for the Cambodia retreat. It has all the specs and detailed pictorials that you can see exactly what your rooms are going to look like, where we're going to be going. And it's going to be an amazing journey, life changing. And you can bet your bottom dollar on that.
Well, I can attest to having the experience with Wayne, learning Qigong and being in a nice location. So
Yeah,
if
in
it's
Mexico.
possible, yeah, we were in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, and it was amazing. I can't even begin to tell you how I felt after doing a week of Qigong. It is life changing. So if you're able to make that journey, I would strongly encourage you to do that. And in the process, you will also be visiting one of the sacred spaces on the planet.
Yeah.
We went to Playa del Carmen and we took a side trip. Brother Wayne didn't make it with us, but we went to Chichen Itza, and it was just it was spellbinding, to see it, to feel it, to experience it, to experience the people. There's just so much that you can take away from this. So for those of you who are interested, we'll drop a link to Brother Wayne's website in the description for this video as well. Anything that you'd like to share with us before we part ways, Brother Antonio?
No, just stay plugged in, and our job is to try to bring as much good information as we can. So stay plugged in and stay tuned.
All right. And as I said, we're going to bring Brother Wayne back not long from now. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency and XRP because there's just a lot of opportunity in that world right now. Brother Antonio mentioned that there might be somewhere around 21,000 cryptocurrencies, and there have been millions that have been created but never really amounted to much.
Mm-hmm,
there have been some that have been created that made a lot of money for people and disappeared.
Yeah.
It's really a treacherous world when you think about it. But what we're doing is we're looking at tokens that have utility, that will be in adoption, and will be used to move money around the planet. It's like the SWIFT system moves something like $21 million a day. That's the old system. You got a new system that's being built right now, and it's going to facilitate the movement of that money, but it's also going to facilitate an opportunity for us to gain significantly if we purchase right now at the right price. So with all of that, thank you for joining us on 360 Info Network today. Look forward to our next broadcast on next Saturday, and we will continue to bring you information and news that you can use, as well as cultural aptitude. That's what I'm giving you, Brother Antonio. We are going to develop cultural aptitude. Write it down. Cultural aptitude. What does that mean? It means your awareness of your relationship to culture and how it can empower you to have success in life. With all of that, as always, know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, and make today your absolute best day. Peace, y'all.
Peace, peace.
Peace.